we have a fairly big crowd outside, so we're going to give it about one more minute, then we'll get going. All right, we'll get going. Mr. Brubaker, you got the thing running? Excellent. So welcome to Frederick High School. As you guys come in, you can just have a seat wherever you can find one. Throughout this presentation, please don't have to take notes or write anything down. We are live streaming this tonight, and we will archive it. So about middle of the day tomorrow, this whole presentation will be available on our webpage. So if you would like to go back and reference anything, you certainly can. So my name is David Franceschina. I'm the principal here at Frederick High School. It is so great to see so many people here. It has been far too long. We are, a task that the admin team here is, we want to provide the students at Frederick High as much of a normal high school experience as we possibly can. So we are very happy to have everybody back in our building full-time, 5 days a week. So this presentation, with the freshman orientation, I told the kids that we were going to save the Them's the Rules speech until tonight. So this is a little bit of the Them's the Rules speech, because high school is very different than middle school, so we want to be sure that everybody comes out of here understanding what the expectations are. And certainly, if you have any questions after this presentation, the administrative team and myself will hang out here so you can come talk to us and we'll get you anything you need. So as I said, high school is a place. It's much different than middle school. Academic expectations are raised significantly. Academic choice, open doors of opportunity. Personal character is created, tested, and as necessary, recreated. And coming out of a pandemic, I can't think of a more valid statement than that. Please know that there are a lot of folks coming in nervous. If you were doing online learning all last year, or you were doing hybrid, I'm not ready for high school, what's going to happen? We all understand that we're coming in under a new norm. So the example that I've been giving is, we can't start English 10 at the same place that we started English 10 before COVID. We will get you where you need to be, so don't worry about it. As I said, my name is David Franceschina. I'm the principal here at Frederick High School. I am very lucky to have 5 great assistant principals here to help me. They joke that it takes 5 people to keep me straight, and they're right, it does take 5. So here, the assistant principals are broken down by alphabet. So your last name will determine what assistant principal you see. If you have the last name A through C, you'll be working with Sherry Murphy, and Miss Murphy's up there. And all of these guys will come up and do a little bit of the presentation as we go along. If you have last name D through K, you'll be working with Miss Hackett. If you have last name L through Q, you'll be working with Dr. Rump. He was the big guy outside passing out masks to anybody that needed them. And if your last name is R through Z, you'll be working with Mr. Eric Engelstatter. Mr. Engelstatter, you want to stand up? And all EL students, you will be working with Miss Carrie Artis. We have many, many people here to help you be successful at Frederick High School. If you have an IEP or a 504, these people will help you out. These are your contact folks. Also, when this presentation is done, if you would like to go meet your case manager, we will have the opportunity for you to do that if you need a little extra assistance. Mission statement at Frederick High School, the first 2-3 lines are the big ones. Frederick High School will prepare students to make a purposeful impact on the world around them. That's the big one. When you guys leave here in 4 years, we want you ready to be active citizens in our country and in our world. That is our goal here at Frederick High School. We have a couple people that would like to speak to you. First, if we could have our student government president, Miss Ella Crone, come on up.
All right, hello. So I'm Ella. I am the president of our Student Government Association, and I'm super excited about what SJ has planned for this year. One particular event that I'm super excited about is our Student Leadership Conference, which we'll be hosting on September 17th. It'll be a miniature lock-in, so it'll be from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m., and it'll be a really fun night full of activities and games that are all leadership-oriented. And it's a super great way to meet fellow students that are interested and like-minded in their interests of leadership and student government. I went my first year, my sophomore year, and it was a really great way to meet the people that I was going to be working with for the past few years. So anyways, if you guys are interested in signing up for the leadership conference, there will be more information posted about that during the first few weeks of school. So keep your eyes out for that, and I hope to see a lot of you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ella. And now if Ms. Carrie Ann Henson could come up and speak a little bit about PTSA.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. I just want to take a few moments and share a bit about the Frederick High School PTSA, what we do, how our meetings run, and how you can become a member if you're interested. The PTSA is a welcoming community, and we're made up of parents, administrators, teachers, staff, and students. We have an executive committee that includes president, vice president, who is Melanie Gettier. She's out at the membership table tonight. We have our treasurer, Elizabeth Dobson, and we have co-secretaries, Louise Headland and Christine Mary. We also have an amazing group of dedicated committee chairs and members who attend general meetings and ensure the success of all of our programming. The PTSA is a vital voice in the Frederick High School community, and through collaboration and advocacy, we strive to support our students and staff. Some of our key programs and initiatives are Dollars for Scholars, which we raise funds for scholarships for graduating Frederick High School students. Care for Kids is an initiative to collect donations for students who are in need. Staff Appreciation provides meals such as tonight. The Staff Appreciation Committee provided a meal for all the teachers and staff here at Frederick High School. Reflections, which is a national PTSA sponsored initiative. And we also provide funding for the academic awards ceremony, and we're always looking to collaborate with fellow parent organizations like the Boosters Club and Safe and Sane. Let's see. Get ahead here. So PTSA meetings take place once a month. This year they'll take place on Wednesday nights, and the way it works is Frederick High Schools generally take the third week of the month, so we will meet on the third Wednesday of the week of every month. Sorry, that was more complicated than it needed to be. From 6 to 7. Our hope is to have them in person and on Zoom, but stay tuned because we're still working out some of those logistics. A few insights about our meetings. We are very respectful of people's time and of people's voices. We want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to speak, but we also want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to get on with their day and their evening. So we keep our meetings to 60 minutes, but we do allow for a little time after the meeting for any sort of conversations that people are interested in having or just thoughts that they want to share. I think something that's very special about Frederick High School PTSA is that every meeting we have committee reports, but we also have a report from the administration. So Dr. Francisquina, or if Dr. Francisquina is otherwise committed, then he'll have one of his APs come to the meeting and they share a report about what's going on from their perspective. We also have a student report and we have a teacher report. The student report is given by SGA President Ella Crone, and the teacher report is given by Bess Strakonski, Frederick High School history teacher. So we welcome you all to join. We welcome grandparents and aunts and uncles and neighbors. Anyone can join the PTA, so please share with your friends and family. You can come out to the table tonight. It's simply filling out a simple form. It is $10, but please know that anyone is welcome to our meetings. And the way that you can find anyone is welcome, you just need to be a member to actually vote. And then the way you find out about our meetings is get on social media. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Frederick High School website, Find Out First, Cadet Messenger, and that's about it. Our first meeting is Wednesday, September 15th. Thank you, and any questions, we're outside.
Thank you, Ms. Henson. So moving on in our program, we are just as lucky with our APs. We have a number of school counselors with us. Your child's school counselor is assigned by last name. So as you can see up here, A through C is Ms. Alexander, D through H, Ms. Garman, I through M, Ms. Anderson, N through R, Ms. Lombardi, S through Z, Mr. Claney, and Ms. Wismer will be working with all of our EL students this year. So speaking of our student services team, I'm going to invite Ms. Lombardi, the chair of our student services department, to come up and talk a little bit about the graduation schedule. Oh, before she does that, I'm sorry. Yeah, stay right there. Just a couple other names, people that can help you out. Ms. Hammond, Coach Hammond for athletics, Casey Bird, behavioral specialist. Any of you that are coming from West Fred, Ms. Bird might be a nice familiar face to see. Again, there are a lot of people that can help you out if you need anything, so do not hesitate to reach out if you need any assistance. Now, Ms. Lombardi. Oh. We'll do.
Good evening. I'm Mrs. Lombardi. I am Department Chair of Student Services, and we welcome everyone to Frederick High tonight. Also, special education teachers, they will be outside. So if you would like to meet your special education case manager, you can go to room 224. All right, so one of the many jobs that school counselors have at the high school level is to make sure that you have all of your graduation requirements from your freshman year until the time you graduate. So 25 credits are needed for graduation, 4 credits in English, 4 credits in math, 1 needs to be an algebra credit, 1 needs to be a geometry credit. You do have to have a math every year. So even if you've had your 4 math, you earn your 4 math credits by the time you're a sophomore, junior, you still need to take a math your junior year, and you still need to take a math your senior year. 3 credits in science. Biology is one of the credits that is required. 3 credits in social studies, being American studies is what we start with as freshmen. Then we go on to government your sophomore year, and then usually your junior year, you have modern world history. 1 fine art credit, 1 credit in technology education, which is either foundations of technology, or you can also take foundations of computer science, which also counts as that technology credit. You have a half a credit in fitness, a half a credit in health, and then there will be an additional 0.5 health credit that is new for our incoming freshman class this year, but you will not be able to take that into your junior year. So we will have more information about that, but just know that will be part of your graduation requirement if you are an incoming freshman. You don't have to have 25 and a half. It is just part of that 25, but it will be a 0.5 health credit that you will be taking your junior year. Also, you need a half a credit of financial literacy, and then 2 credits or more in a completer program. So a completer program is that group of classes that you need that help decide what you want to do or prepare you for what you want to do after high school. So if you are thinking about doing a career or tech trade, then we would probably be steering you into one of our many completer programs here at Frederick High School, or CTC. If you are considering going straight to a 4-year college, then you would be a University System of Maryland completer, which is 2 credits of the same world language. Additional credits are in career pathways, but we know that our ideas, interests are changing all the time, so those are basically your elective credits. 75 student service learning hours, and then the completion of the state assessments. So schedule change procedures. Everyone should be or you may have already seen your schedule through Schoology, which is first semester on Schoology. However, we do have a copy of everyone's schedule in the front lobby. If you did not get that schedule yet, we'll be out there all night. So in order to change your schedule, all requests must be done in writing. We do have schedule change forms out there as well. So just know the availability of classes are very slim. So we will do what we can to assist you in that process. However, obviously some of the things that are going to take priority if you do not have a complete schedule. If you may have earned a credit in a course and it appears back on your schedule. Improper sequence if you have Spanish 2 and you've never taken Spanish 1. And if you are considering work-based education or transition education to work study, then you will be working with Ms. Melcher, and then that would require a schedule change as well. So just know that tonight your printed schedules are on blue paper. However, the first day of school, we will have another printout of your schedule. That's going to be on goldenrod. So I just don't want you to be confused. 99.999% chance is going to be the same, but just know you would follow your goldenrod paper on Monday. And then, like I said, we will have your schedules out in the front hallway. We also have tables of school supplies and other information. So if you need anything like that, don't hesitate to come see us. Hope you all have a great year.
Hi, everybody. So like Dr. Franceschina said earlier, my name is Eric Engelstetter. I'm one of the assistant principals here at Frederick High School. This is my 16th year at Frederick High School. I was a teacher for a good many years prior to becoming an administrator. So I've gotten to see a lot of changes here at Frederick High School, and one of the biggest changes we've undergone over the past several years has been the introduction of links at Frederick High School. So for those of you that don't know what links is, or maybe you've heard about it and want a little bit of more information, I'm going to go through some of the key aspects of what links is and how it can benefit all Frederick High School students. So links is primarily composed of 4 separate components, and every single student, the first thing to understand about links is that every single student in this room that is a Frederick High School student is a link student. It's not a specialized program. It doesn't require enrollment. By being a Frederick High School student, you are a link student, and you will be able to take advantage of these different components. So the first component is advocacy. The second component is the innovative learning aspect. The third component is the opportunity to have a flexible schedule. And the fourth component is the partnership piece. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each one. All right, so the first is the network of advocates. Many of you, if you were in one of our feeder schools, you probably have met or hopefully have met one of the 4 links advocates that we have here at Frederick High School. And as you can see from this little graphic on the screen, their job is to assist in the transition from middle school to high school. And primarily during the advocacy block, which is after your second block in your day, work with you to make some connections to those other aspects of links that I described earlier. Get you connected with partnerships. Work through your student success plan, which I'll talk about, which is based off of your personal story that some of you completed in 8th grade. The idea being that it forms a continuum that ultimately ends in Advocacy 3, where we're turning you towards career and college readiness based on the experiences that you've gone through throughout your high school career. Advocacy 2, which is sandwiched in the middle, has the aspect of our partners. That's our soft skills series, so you'll get an opportunity to meet with some of our over 160, I think at this point, business partners that have teamed up with links and provide a number of different skill sets and give you an opportunity to ask questions and really get an idea of what some of these career paths are all about and what it takes to advance in the career of your choice. So advocacy is a really important component to what we do here at Frederick High School. And speaking of the advocates, our 4 links advocates will be up on the 3rd floor today. If you go all the way to the top, I know it's a long walk. You cannot miss their office. It's right at the top of the stairs. There's a giant glass wall in front of you. That's the Link's office, and you will meet these four lovely people on the screen. Miss Talley, Mr. Moran, Miss Sands, and Miss Zimmerman, and they will be happy to help you out. If you don't get a chance to see them today, I am sure, especially if you are a freshman, they will come and find you once we get to advocacy and we start our year to give you some introductions. All right, so earlier I was talking about the student success plan. That's an important component to what you are doing in high school. A lot of times, this lives in what's called naviance. And a lot of times as you're going through high school, you're not really sure what it is you want to do. You kind of go out, you try a lot of different things. This document captures those experiences in a way that allow you to see at the end of your 4 years at Frederick High School what you've done. And that sounds kind of strange maybe to some of you that are younger. You're thinking, well, how would I forget what I've done? Trust me, it's a long 4 years. So when you're going to apply for colleges, or maybe you're looking for trade schools, or maybe you're looking for a career, this is a good document to reflect back on that collects that information and can give you some guidance on some of the things and opportunities that you may want to partake in as you transition out of high school. And your advocate and your advocacy teacher will help you with that process as well. So the innovative learning aspect of Links is a little involved, and this graphic has a lot of writing on it, but the short version of it is we practice competency-based education here at Frederick High School. The entire Frederick County Public Schools system is shifted to a standards-based learning system. We are a competency-based education system, and essentially what that means is that we grade on skills, performance standards, and on practice. And so you'll see a lot of involved experiences in the classroom, much different from maybe some of what your parents experienced when they were in school, a much more traditional aspect of having a teacher stand in front of the room, give a lecture, you take notes, then you take a test where you represent some of the memory of those notes. This is experiential based, and the idea is that it gives students a lot of opportunities to represent their knowledge in a lot of different ways, okay? And I know this is kind of small and it's difficult to see a little bit of, but you can see this graphic also on the Frederick County Public Schools website, as well as posted in a number of different places on our website. But I'll just run through very quickly one of the different components of it. Clear outcomes. Students turn in assignments, they get feedback from teachers. They're able to know what they did wrong. Formative assignments are the practice. Formative assignments make up 10% of your grade in your classes. Think of it, if you're thinking of athletics, it'd be like the practice before the game. You don't want to put a lot of weight on that since you're just learning something for the first time, but you're getting a lot of feedback from the teacher to sort of guide you towards a more successful experience. That's that feedback process, which ultimately leads to the summative assessment. That makes up a majority of your grade in a course. And those are the experiences. Sometimes they may look like a traditional test. Sometimes they may look like a project. They can look like a lot of different things, but it's ultimately a way to represent the knowledge that you gain through the formative practice so that you can show where you are at any given time on those performance standards I mentioned earlier. And of course, the last component of that is reassessment. If you do not perform on that summative in a way that you feel you could have performed, you can reassess to demonstrate that knowledge in a better way later. And you'll work with your teacher to determine what the reassessment will look like. Typically, it's targeted at the specific performance standard that you may not have performed in as well as you expected. Again, it's another aspect of getting that feedback, and then that whole cycle starts again. That is a very simplistic representation of what competency-based education is, but you have a number of people here that are going to be able to support you through that process and help you to better understand it. And certainly if you have any questions this evening about competency-based education, you can see any one of the administrators as well. So innovative learning, one of the options that we have outside of CBE is something called credit by demonstrated mastery, which really captures the idea of what CBE is about. You can essentially earn a credit by representing your skill by doing something that you've already done. And the easiest way to represent this is usually through athletics. If you play a sport, you can earn a fitness credit by demonstrating the same curricular standards to the same standards in participating in those athletics as you would in, say, the traditional fitness course. So CDM gives you a creative way of getting those credits, freeing up more time in your schedule so that you can engage in other opportunities. We've had students do a number of different opportunities through CDM, including things like dance for fitness. We had the same students do dance for visual performing arts. We've had a student do Japanese, which is a course we don't offer here. So they went out, they found a tutor. They're now having conversations with a Japanese student who's also learning English. A lot of different opportunities through CDM. If you haven't seen the presentation that went out via Find Out First over the summer, feel free to contact your counselor and they can work you through the procedure as well to sign up for a CDM experience. So just another example of a creative learning opportunity here at Frederick High School. Probably the thing that we're most well known for are the Links experiences. Again, that deals with our partners, our advocates working with our partners to set up these experiences. They can take a number of different appearances. We're very happy this year to have the opportunity to do these face-to-face again. We have partners come into the school to work with students. We also have students, when available, current restrictions depending, on going to locations to be able to visit with our partners to really, again, get a hands-on opportunity to see what careers are available and what they're all about, and really get an opportunity to pick the brains of those professionals that have been successful in that field. College visits, traveling again to offsite locations, and all students are automatically signed up for a linked Schoology group at Frederick High School. And in that Schoology group, you will find the Links Experience calendar. You can click on an experience and you can sign up for that experience there. And certainly your advocates can give you more information. And those are free to all Frederick High students, no matter what grade you are in. This past year, we also opened it up to interviews, virtual experiences, interviews, tours, and tutorials. And that sort of gave us opportunity to interact with a bigger audience of partners. But just so you know, those are also available just in case. This is what that calendar looked like in March of 2020 before you know what happened. But you can see there's a wide variety of opportunities available on any given day of the week for students to participate in and experience. Another aspect of how we do things here at Frederick High School is we use something called habits of work. So if you are a parent of a student at Frederick High School, you will receive a report with your report card that gives you an indication of the behavioral standards by which your student is performing in their classes. The idea is to separate behavior from academic skill acquisition. So a student is able, or you as a parent are able to see how the student is not only performing academically through the report card, but also how they are performing behaviorally through our habits of work. So for instance, you'll get a score in independent perseverance, in effort in class, in attendance, and in social responsibility. Those are the 4 categories, and you'll get 4 ratings. And again, it's part of the opportunity to see the whole student versus just the academic side of the student. All right, so this one's a little bit different. This has nothing to do with links, this part. So I'm the crosswalk guy in the morning. For those of you that drop off your students in the morning, you're going to see me. I wear a bright orange vest, and I have a walkie-talkie usually, and I'm standing right in the crosswalk at the front entrance. So if you look up here, you'll see Frederick High School on the left-hand side of the screen, okay? When you come to drop off your student, you see the big pink circle? You see how it doesn't go into a parking lot, and it just loops back around and out again? Counterclockwise, do that. So there's going to be one line. I'm going to just tell you this now. I'll be out there at 7 a.m., okay? The school day starts at 7:30. If you pull up at 7:20, that line might be very long, okay? Try to get here. If you don't like lines, try to get here early. And that's a safety thing in all seriousness, guys. If you're dropping people off, you see those the dark green lines up there? That's the staff parking lot. If you try to cut in there and then you're dropping off students there, they're going to walk across where the other parents and students are dropping off and driving to get to the student parking lot. It becomes a safety issue. It backs everybody up. It's a less efficient process. So if you come in, You're going to move counterclockwise around the circle and then right back out again towards either West Frederick or out towards West College Terrace, okay? So please, please, please keep that in mind. There will be cones to keep you on your way, and there will be me with a giant orange vest. So if you get lost or confused out there, you can find me when you're dropping your student off. All right. Next up, Assistant Principal Sherry Murphy.
So this is just our basic bell schedule. Each class you're in is 80 minutes long. You have a 5-minute transition from block to block. 5 minutes is plenty of time, even if you're coming from the PE hallway all the way to the farthest English classroom. We've done it. You can get there in 5 minutes. You just got to get there. So you have 5 minutes between each class. You'll see in the cafeteria on some of the walls, we've posted the lunch shifts. So your lunch shift is based on your third block teacher. So find your third block teacher's name on the lunch shift, and that will tell you which lunch shift you have starting on Wednesday. And then we have our 4 blocks. If you're a 5th block student, rather than leaving at the end of the day at 2:30, you'll go on to your 5th block, and then you'll come down to the cafeteria for supper, and then if you're a bus rider, you'll take your ride home, or if you're a car rider, they'll pick you up in the front. So if you're looking at your schedule, everybody got a copy of your blue schedule. If you haven't gotten it yet, they'll have it for you after this. You need to look at just the classes tonight that say M1, M2. That's marking period 1 and 2. In high school, you have 4 classes one semester, and then 4 brand new classes next semester. So take a look at just the 4 classes that are listed as M1, M2. Block 1, Block 2, Block 3, and Block 4. And then that Block 2.5 is your advocacy class. That class you do have all year long. You'll find all of your classes in your Schoology. If you have not logged into Schoology yet, starting your login will go back to your student ID. So no more of these crazy number letter combinations that you had last year. So tomorrow night when you go to bed, when you come to school the next morning, your ID will be, or your password will be your student ID. Parents, if you did not get an email on the 9th that gave your student schedule and your Schoology login information, please call the school. We need to make sure we have the correct email address for you, and then we can get you your login information for Schoology so you can keep track of how your students are doing in Schoology. Now that you're in high school, I have to tell you that attendance is probably one of the most critical pieces to student success. Last year, attendance was measured on a weekly basis. This year, we go back to measuring attendance block by block on a daily basis, okay? If you miss a class more than 5 times in a term unlawfully, you could end up with a failing grade for that term due to unlawful absences. If you miss more than 10 in a semester unlawfully, you could end up failing that class for attendance as well. So you can have 100% in the class, but if you've missed more than 10 days unlawfully without a doctor's note or a note from your parent, you could end up not earning credit for that class. So it's super important for you to be in school every day, all day. Starting this year, parents are going to be getting a text message halfway through the day to let you know if your child has missed any classes, and then at the end of the day to let you know if your child has missed any classes. So if you feel like you're getting a text message in error, please let us know, and we will take a look and make sure that we haven't made any mistakes with attendance for your child. Okay, if you are absent, you can either send a note with your child back to school and they can take it to the attendance window. It's right past the front office when they come in. You can email the attendance secretary at fhsattendance@fcps.org, or you can call the front office and get transferred to the attendance secretary and she can take a message from you over the phone as well. It's important to submit a note as soon as possible after your absence so we can code your attendance accordingly. Oh, talked about that already? So a lawful absence is if you have a note from your parent, a doctor's note, a court summons, anything that shows us why you've been absent. An unlawful absent is if you're absent from school without submitting any documentation as to why you're not here. And again, make sure you're calling the attendance office or emailing. If you arrive late to class, so if you're not here at 7, you have to be in your first block class by 7:30, not rolling in the door at 7:30, not leaving the cafeteria at 7:30. When the bell rings, you're to be seated in your first block class. If you're not, the classroom doors will shut, The administration is sitting at the front of the school, and we will assign students into school late. In order to get to class then after 7:30, you need to have a pass from administration to be able to let you into class. So if you're not in your classroom by 7:30, you need to stop by the front, near the front office. If you have a note explaining why you're late, then it'll be an excuse late. If you don't have a note, then it will be marked absent. And the note, it needs to be something about illness or a reason why you're late. Being late to school because you slept in, not an excuse. Being late to school because you missed your bus, those are not excused absences. So you need to make sure you're getting to school, and if there is a reason, that you have a note. Early dismissal. If you need to leave early for any reason, make sure you send a note with your student, again, or you can call the school and email the attendance office so that we can provide your student with a note to get out of class early. That way, when you're ready to pick them up, the student's ready to leave. If we don't have advance notice, it takes time to call the student from class and get them down for you. So if you're aware of an absence coming up that you need to get them from class early, just please send a note in with them in the morning. Then students will take that note to the attendance office and then get a pass to be able to leave class. So in order to attend an after-school event, school dance, typically just for homecoming or prom, you need to maintain an 85% attendance rate, okay? So on October 30th is our first homecoming, so you can't miss more than 7 days in order to be eligible to attend. If there is extenuating circumstances, you had surgery and needed to miss, or there was a death in the family, and you have gone over those 7 days, you just need to speak with your administrator to see if that can be waived for you at that time. If you are suspended from school for fighting or any kind of a violent act or drugs or alcohol, suspension from school activities is likely going to happen, and you won't be allowed to come to the homecoming dance or prom, and potentially wouldn't be allowed to attend sporting events as well. And then for prom, anyone attending prom needs to have all of their financial obligations settled prior to buying a ticket.
Hello, cadets. So I am talking about eligibility, and what this means is if you are eligible to participate in activities outside of the classroom. So currently, all Frederick High School students and incoming 8th graders, or 9th graders, I'm sorry, you are eligible. As of right now and today, everyone is eligible despite whatever your grades were last school year. But that does change after term 1. So to be eligible for clubs, extracurricular activities, athletics, field trips, students must maintain at least a 2.0 GPA. If you have all A's and 1 F, that will also make you ineligible. So you need to have at least a 2.0 with no failing grades at all. Students may become ineligible at report card time. So after term 1, the grades will be reported to us, and then we will generate an eligibility list. And if you're on that list, you will not be able to participate in the extracurricular activities. Students have the opportunity to earn eligibility back at report card time and also at interim time, which is basically time midway between the terms. As far as clubs, at Frederick High School, we have over 50 clubs that are available to our students. These clubs include Model UN, the National Honor Society, Mock Trial, Envirothon, the FFA, a STEP team, and many more. Once you get the code or the link to your student handbook, all of our clubs are linked and listed on the student handbook. In addition to that, if you have an interest that's not on that list for a club and you really want to do something at Frederick High School, it's a great idea. Please talk to an administrator or a staff person to see if we can find someone to advise that club, and hopefully we'll be able to support you in whatever activities you're trying to do here at Frederick High School. Clubs, they meet during advocacy and after school, depends on the club. They could meet just during advocacy or meet during both times. It will depend on the club. Information and online signups will be available once the school year begins. At Frederick High School, as far as athletics, and this is what you are hopefully going to be eligible for, right now we have practicing football, soccer, volleyball, golf, cross-country, cheerleading, and field hockey, and you see the list goes on. At Frederick High School, we do have our unified sports program for the fall. For each season, we have one sport for our unified program. For the fall right now, we have unified tennis. In the winter, we have unified bocce, and the spring, we have unified track. As far as our visual performing arts, if you're interested in getting involved in the arts or if you've had experience in the past, these are all of the VPA programming that we offer at Frederick High School. So marching band, concert band, orchestra, a concert and mixed choir. We have a show choir as well, and a winter and spring drama productions here at Frederick High School. For visual arts, we offer ceramics, drawing and painting, computer graphics, and photography, and you can also help with the yearbook. Oh, the fun one. Okay. Dress code at Frederick High School. So at Frederick High School, this is a place of business, all right? Not leisure. I'm going to read a little bit. We support creating a positive and non-disruptive learning environment, even online, while respecting students' rights to express themselves through their choice of personal attire. Students are expected to be dressed to learn and adhere to the Frederick County Student Dress Code Policy 439. Students should not be wearing any item of clothing or article which impedes their ability to be fully engaged and participate in instruction. So as far as what that means, clothing with offensive, obscene language, pictures or words depicting violence, disrespect, sex, nudity, drugs, gang affiliation, alcohol, or weapons will not be permitted to be worn at Frederick High School. Students are restricted from wearing clothing that is unduly revealing. So what does that mean? Students are to conceal what is underneath their clothing. No low-cut shirts at the neckline or underneath the arm, and tops must have straps. I think some people my age may recall the two-finger rule and those kinds of things. We no longer have that. As long as your shirt has straps on it, it is fine, but it must have straps to be school appropriate. Short skirts should not be too short or revealing as students walk up and down the stairs or sit at their desks. Pants are to be worn above the hips and avoid exposing what is underneath, including their underwear and their skin.
I feel like we need a seventh inning stretch. We're almost there. All right, so I'm Miss Hackett. I'm the newest AP here. I've got the unfun ones. Drug and alcohol policy. Here's a big thing. Can't have them on campus. Don't bring them to games. And that's as little as one sip of something and you come to a football game or you come to an event. We're not the police. We're not giving you a breathalyzer test. One sip is all it takes, and you're on our campus, and you're violating our drug and alcohol policy, okay? So that can be suspensions, expulsions. It can kick you off athletic teams. It can kick you off extracurriculars. And it can keep you out of pep rallies, homecoming, and you can lose leadership positions or honor societies. Oh, thank you. Okay, weapons. Don't bring them to school. No tiny pocket knives. Nothing. No lookalikes. No Nerf guns. Leave them at home, okay? And that includes, if we've got fishers or hunters, don't bring them in your cars. Make sure that they're out, okay? Cell phones. So you can have cell phones in school, all right? But what we ask is when you're in class, that shouldn't be distracting you from work. Everyone's got Chromebooks. Your cell phone is not something that you can use to do your schoolwork in class. So if you got to come, you got to bring that Chromebook every day. Cell phones should be put away. At lunch, you want to take them out at lunch? Fine. But during instruction, cell phones got to be away. Remember that whatever you bring to school, including those cell phones, we're not responsible for it. So if you're in a phys ed class, it's got to go in your locker and it's got to get locked up. If you don't lock it up and it goes missing, we're not going to replace that. We're not going to be responsible for it. And those AirPods are so easy to get lost. Leave them at home. Okay, our school nurse is here today. We have a health room. It's right at the front when you walked in. Two big things: don't bring medications to school unless they are through the health room. There's a form you can fill out. It's easy to do. Have it on file there. So if you take any medications, they've got to be taken at home or they've got to be in the health room. Don't take, don't hand out, don't carry Advil, Tylenol, none of those things unless you've got it in the health room, okay? If you are feeling sick, let a teacher know, or if it's in between classes, go down to the health room. Please do not just leave school. If you leave school and we don't know you've left, we can have an emergency and we don't know you're here. Okay, in essence, you're cutting class. So if you're not feeling good, go to the health room, Let them know you're not feeling good. They'll help you get in contact with mom or dad. If you need to go home, we'll get you home, but we'll get you signed out the appropriate way. So you have to check out if you're going to leave. Inhalers, and I'll put it up there, can carry because we need them in physical education classes. So as long as they're checked in with the health room, same thing with EpiPens. But check them in through the health room. Bullying, harassment, if you see it, report it. We've got a reporting form. You can report it to a teacher, an AP, a counselor, but make sure you report it. We've got a huge form for it. We launch a big investigation. It's not something that we take it very seriously, okay? If you see it, say something so we can do something about it.
You guys have been great. We're almost to the end. Thank you for hanging with us. So, a couple last slides. I want to talk a little bit about, oh, well, they really are done with us. Hit snooze and keep your fingers crossed. Okay, so now I talk fast. So COVID protocols, and I put up there as of 8/16/21, as many of you guys have seen, this is like hitting a moving target. We want you to stay here 5 days a week, personal learning. We do not want to go back to that online nonsense. We want face-to-face learning for the entire school year. So please help us make this happen. The requirements, all staff and students will be required to wear a face covering in our school building when present. Face coverings will not be required outdoors, but are strongly encouraged for those who are unvaccinated. Face coverings will continue to be required on the school bus, and social distancing will be applied when possible. We're going to have about 1,700 students here at Frederick High School this year. So the idea of keeping everybody 6 feet apart, it's just not going to happen. We will, however, make every effort we can if an opportunity presents itself. So obviously, if a class has 10 students in it, we can space out as opposed to a class with 35 in it. Please report symptoms to the school. If you wake up feeling sick, do not come to school. Call us and we will help work through it. If you are displaying COVID-like symptoms, please stay home and contact the school immediately. Non-vaccinated close contact exposures to an individual displaying COVID-like symptoms may be required to quarantine for 10 days. So what that means, a close contact right now, and when I say right now, this is one of these seems like to be moving targets. If you were within 3 feet of an individual who has tested positive for COVID for longer than 15 minutes throughout a 24-hour period, you're considered a close contact. Unless you've been vaccinated, then you will not have to quarantine. The only time a vaccinated person has to quarantine is if they start displaying symptoms of COVID. So the big takeaway from all of this is if you display symptoms of COVID, please don't come to the school. Call us and we will work with you. Obviously, if you've tested positive for COVID, absolutely do not come to the school. But please call us so we can start the contact tracing and identify any close contacts. And if there are any updates to this, Frederick County Public Schools has been sending out Find Out First. I will send a Find Out First. Whenever we get a COVID announcement, I will double up what the county sends just to make sure that every family sees it. Free and reduced meals. We're lucky this year. We have a grant. Everybody eats in the cafeteria for free. All food services will be free this year. However, if you feel that you would qualify for free and reduced meals, there are so many other services available to you if you qualify for free and reduced meals. Things like our dual enrollment courses, those fees are waived. You can get college credit for free. A lot of our tests, that's free. Athletics, there's waivers to that. So many opportunities if you believe that you qualify for free and reduced meals. So if you think that's you, please fill out the form so we can get you some of those items. Lastly, our website is up here. Please visit that. School Cash Online. While the meals are free, there's some a la carte things, bags of chips here and there. If you would like your student to be able to do that, you can upload money to it. Basically anything that requires money at school, whether it's an athletic fee or anything, you can pay on School Cash Online. Senior photos, you give Life Touch a call. We did most of the senior photos over the summer. Most of the audience here is not seniors, so we'll go past that. Underclass photos, here's the dates: Thursday, September 2nd, Friday, September 3rd, and then the retakes. So we'll be sending home the picture packages. You can choose if you would like to get them. Every student will be getting a photo so you can get that important school ID. And that is it. So you have about an hour. If you haven't picked up your schedule yet, please go do that. You can walk your schedule. And if there are any questions, yeah, and you can go out both exits. There's exits on the left or the right. If you have any questions about any of this, the admin team will be here up front. Feel free to come on up. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to working with you this year.